Hello, welcome to the channel. In this episode, we cross the Andes from Chile to Argentina, crossing the 4,753 meter Agua Negra Pass. The weather dawned cloudy and we left La Serena in the morning traffic, briefly losing our way before eventually finding Route 41 that would take us up from sea level to the pass. In the previous weeks, we hadn't climbed to any high altitude, and I was a little concerned about how we would acclimatise to an almost 5,000 metre gain in half a day. The weather cleared into a fine blue sky as we made our way inland on a gentle but steady climb past small villages and grape plantations, some of which appeared damaged and abandoned. The distant barren mountains soon loomed large as we rode up a deep valley, past scree slides and large boulders that had tumbled down to the valley floor and landed next to the road. Grey colours soon gave way to multicoloured bands of mineral rocks with amazing shades of orange, yellow, brown, green and purple. We reached the Chile border post and after completing the paperwork, ate some lunch, rehydrated and chatted to some fellow bikers also travelling across the pass. We were given a slip of paper we needed to hand over at a checkpoint after crossing the pass. presumably for search and rescue purposes, which was reassuring. The road continued on a good asphalt surface, climbing ever higher until reaching Lago Embalse La Laguna at 3,150 metres above sea level and turning to good gravel. We stopped to adjust the traction control on the motorcycle at the start of the gravel. gradient was easy and we stopped a few times to take photos. We seemed to be acclimatised and so far we're coping with the altitude well. On reaching 4,000 meters altitude, the road steepened and zigzagged up to the pass. A couple of corners were tight and steep, requiring a few revs and some clutch slip to negotiate.
Primera, sin frenar, no frenen acá. No frenen acá, no paren. Te quedan dos curvas grandes, pero no frenen. En primera fuerte. Dale, ¿cómo le paré acá? Vamos,
Yeah, if I have to stop, I'll just kill the engine. If I have to stop, I'll just stop the engine.
The riders we met at the border post had stopped, so we stopped as well to assess the road. It was too steep for the front brake to stop the bike from rolling back, so I had to kill the engine with the bike in gear. Getting started again was a delicate act of balance and coordination, but we managed without embarrassing ourselves. I got a lot of advice in Spanish, but didn't understand a word, so just nodded my head in agreement. The fine weather on the Chile side was looking ominously grey in Argentina as we rode the final few kilometres to the top of the pass. We stopped at the top for the obligatory photos. There's not much there except a few signs and a monument, and it was cold, so we didn't stop for long. I walked a few dozen metres to a viewpoint to the west for a photo, but each step was laboured and short of breath. Riding or walking at altitude are two different things, and I felt a little dizzy putting on my helmet. On starting the ride down, my breathing settled and I felt better straight away. We passed some wind and rain sculptured snowbanks on the side of the road before stopping not far down at a hairpin corner to fly the drone. It was very lightly snowing, but the clouds looked very dark further down the valley. We stopped at the portal sign to don our rain gear, as it was obviously going to get wet as we descended. There are plans to bore a tunnel through the mountain to Chile and avoid the climb over the pass. Soon after, the expected rain turned out to be hail, and the road turned white with ice. The tyres still had traction from the gravel underneath, and riding down wasn't a problem. Further down the valley, we stopped to fly the drone, adjacent to some spectacularly coloured rock. On the Argentina side, the road changes to Route 150, and we soon reached some excellent asphalt and rode down the valley, descending numerous switchbacks. We stopped at the checkpoint, handed in our paper, and carried on into increasing wind down to the Argentina border post just before Las Flores, where we checked in for the official entry. on Route 150, passing interesting rock formations, stopping at Mirador del Lago Cuesta del Viento, where we met a group of riders who were on their way to ride over the pass the next day. Cuesta del Viento is a popular windsurfing spot, and there were a couple of monuments to mark the fact. Riding on, we sidled down a rough, winding road to our overnight stay at San Jose de Chachal, and as it turned out, we stayed at the same hotel as our earlier San Pedro de Atacama trip as we went south to Mendoza. That's it for this video. Join us next time where, in the last episode in this series, we'll cover the final 5 days ride back home to Curitiba, Brazil. Ciao.